IMF says it expects growth in Sub-Saharan Africa to be flat at 3.6% this year, but rising by 4.2% in 2025. It attributes a slower pace of growth this year to impediments like climate change impacts on agriculture in countries like Malawi, Zambia and Zimbabwe, among others. But it noted that the primary drag on overall growth continues to come from the underperformance of resource-intensive countries like South Africa. Despite these factors and higher debt levels accrued post the COVID crisis, it says many Sub-Saharan African countries remain focused on the goal to improve their fiscal positions.
Are making the needed adjustments to improve their macro, and one of those is fiscal consolidation, which is needed then in many countries to help rebuild the buffers, given the probable occurrence of future shocks, and ensure debt sustainability. So we're seeing that. We're seeing fiscal positions improving, debt stabilizing, inflation down, which are all good signs for the region's economic health.
The IMF was upbeat for growth prospects in countries like Ghana, which is working on improving its fiscal situation after having borrowed money from the IMF, with the likes of Botswana and Senegal expected to experience higher export levels going forward. When it comes to South Africa specifically, it upwardly revised the country's growth to 1.1% in 2024, with a slightly higher increase of 1.5% in 2025.
Flex is, what we've seen in terms of outturns, right? The second quarter had a more improved outturn. And some of the indicators, the high frequency indicators, are pointing to stronger activity. Also, given the improved, electricity generation, big achievement of no load shedding since end March, and this renewed confidence post elections. And the expectation is that the positive momentum is expected to carry into 2025 and beyond, as again some of these structural bottlenecks continue to ease gradually.
A weaker economic performance out of China was expected to place some downward economic pressure on some countries in the region, given China's significance, particularly for commodity exporters like South Africa.
Our baseline, we're assuming some 10% decline in global oil prices in 2025. And for other commodity prices, generally pretty stagnant. And that kind of outlook reflects, broadly stable global growth, together with this deeper growth slowdown in China. Now, those forecasts for commodity prices are subject to risks, as always, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the global economy now with regional conflicts, climate shocks, broader geopolitical tensions. So there is the potential then, the risks for renewed spikes in commodity prices from some of these areas.
National lender noted that public finances raised from taxes alone would never be enough to address issues of investment in infrastructure, including electricity generation, social spending, and dealing with climate change adaptation and mitigation, among others. Adding that blended finance, which combines private and public sector finances, as well as assistance from developmental financial institutions, was the best way to go in unlocking the region's economic potential. Nompumelo Losiziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.